If we talk about shared values, for example, so that's the first thing. So what is the shared value of this particular vision of the product that you're going to define, the initiative, program, whatever it is, the application you're bringing? So in the context of your mobile e-commerce, the e-commerce site for selling mobile accessories that we've been using as examples, what is the shared value in that context? So you can actually try and talk about the belief system, the shared values. Why would we need this? What are the key features of this? How does it sell? Right, a selling tool for multiple customer across the world. What are the skills required for it? What kind of skill set do we need to actually develop this? The soft skills as well as the hard skills, the technology skills, the people skills, the kind of managerial aspects of it, the communication aspects of it, the communication channels involved, the internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, all of those. The strategy in terms of how we would achieve that, the approach. This is what we discussed yesterday, right? The strategy in terms of strategy is basically an approach of how we would achieve that vision. So the road that we would take, what road should we take? How should we achieve that? In the context of the automotive plan that we talked about, the automotive spare parts company. So we said that we would actually focus only on the defense sector, right? So that's a strategy, that's an approach in terms of market. And also we said that we would target the time frame where the new registration are going to happen with the dealers. That's another strategy, another approach and strand that you could work on. And the structure in terms of the team organization of the structure into teams. Which teams? Is it the cross-discipline teams? Is it monolithic teams? Is it going to be a marketing team or is it going to be HR team? So are you going to, previously, again, this actually brings to me an example of what I did with one of the clients about 4 years ago. So they're a huge organization with about 5,000 to 6,000 people spread around UK, and then they have been in the business for a good 160 years plus. So very old company, very established and very well respected organization in that space of work. And they had been operating in the context of these departments all along. So they had a marketing department, they had a HR department, they've got a journals department, they've got a publishing department, separate departments sitting all around the building in different floors. Each of them has got a different floor, different set of offices. But everybody has been sitting in the same building, but with walls and cabins. So what we proposed as a context of this new approach to create the platform, we've had a look at that yesterday, called GCH platform. So with that GCH platform, we wanted to build a new way of working to actually integrate and cut across these different teams. So we cut across all the departments. We had this whole huge hall to ourselves. This team was called SIT, Strategic Innovation Team, and then we got the go ahead with the top person. The CEO gave us the go ahead, and then we've evacuated the whole of the top floor of the building, and then we got no cabins, nothing. So it's all everybody in this team, and there are about 90 people who are part of this SIT, 90. And then each of the team members have got like different small little teams within them, but then they were cutting across the departments. They were not departments there. It's just one team. And then all the team members would be coming in from marketing, from HR, from strategy, from publishing, from innovation, from XML, from technology, all of those operations, all of them are sitting in one room, in one big room, without cabins and without all those things. So the communication is clear. The structure is completely different now. It's cross-discipline. It's multi-skilled cross-discipline teams now. One team now. Within that, we've got multiple scrum of scrums kind of a thing. So that was a huge change. Initially, they were really scared about this change. They were not really favorable to this. They said, no, we've been working on in the way that we've been working on for the last 20, 30 years. Why are we changing? So change is good. But then to accept the change and to work on that, people are all aversive. We're all human beings. We are averse to change, whether it's a simple thing or complex thing. It's so difficult for us to change. So we had to actually convince them a lot of times, and then we asked them to try once. So that's how it started. And within a year, they really liked the way we're working. And then we delivered the product within the first 3 months of the working this way. And we came up with the agile ways of working, and then how we need to work, what the scrum of scrums, the scrum setting up the Scrum teams, working in Scrum, sprint planning, sprints and stuff like that. So alignment of sprints. We'll talk about that tomorrow and day after. So it's very interesting case study again, the success of implementation of the Agile into this large teams. Systems is again how you're going to structure this in the form of systems, in the form of the, again, one of the other case studies was about how we moved from one aspect of on-premise, having all these huge IT teams, about 20 people IT support team with huge server rooms being maintained, so much of cost, so much of money and time and the resources spending into maintain that. Again, we had to come up with a program, change program to move all of that to cloud. Huge change in terms of the system. So we're not really talking about the product server, blade servers and all those set up there anymore. No AC rooms and things like that. We have got all of that on the cloud with a third-party service provider coming in this with the service, having their own VPC, virtual private cloud context. And again, that's another case study for us to talk about. We'll mention that in detail. And the style, in terms of style of working, as I mentioned, it could be a department hierarchy of taking orders from the top, the linear, it could be linear, or it could be a style of team working in terms of collaborative working across different teams. As I mentioned again in the last few projects I've been working on, I have never worked on a project only in one place with a team only in one place. It has got to be like multidiscipline teams spread across and distributed teams across the world. Some teams in the UK, some in Europe, in different parts of Europe, like Switzerland, Germany, some in China, India, Philippines, and USA. There's so many different teams now involved in working on the same product, same platform. So the style is supposed to be collaborative, easygoing, and then it's going to be a democratic kind of a thing. It's not going to be autocratic anymore. The staff, the team skills that are required to bring us to speed. So the kind of skills that you need, the kind of people that you need to get into the team. So this is what is called the 7S model of McKinsey.